What's up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino, K-Rino, and I want to talk about a situation that's been going on here in the state of Texas uh, at a high school called Barbers Hill High School, and it's located in Mont Belvieu, Texas. Um, I had never heard of Mont Belvieu before this situation jumped off. But there is a young man by the name of DeAndre Arnold, and I'm sure many of you who may have been following this situation, y'all already know about it. And y'all have already seen different people comment on it or make videos about it. But this young man, he's 18 years old. He's a senior, and he was told by the school district, by the school and the school district, that if he did not cut his dreadlocks, then he would not be allowed to walk across the stage during graduation. Now, the there are several problems with this particular situation. Um, Number one, in my opinion, is absolutely racist. And I know what y'all are thinking. I know what a lot of people are thinking is, well, why does it have to be about race? It only becomes about race when it becomes about race. Why would you have a student who had been growing his dreadlocks for 10 years, who had been attending that particular school district for 10 years, and then all of a sudden, when he's right about at the brink of being able to graduate, you decide to enforce um, a dress code that stipulates that he has to cut his dreadlocks. Now, initially, it was said that okay, as long as he keeps it up, as long as he keeps it below the earlobe and out of his eyes, and not hanging on his shoulders, then it was fine. And him and his mother, who would help do his hair, would always comply with those rules. So, with that being said, if he had not ever violated that particular policy, why now would y'all choose to decide for him not to be able to graduate unless he cut the hair that he had been growing pretty much all of his life? It just doesn't make sense. Um, so the question is like, why now? So of course, everyone's divided. Everyone's divided because you have black people saying, like myself, saying that I feel like it was a racist move because um, locks are a cultural expression. Black people have been wearing their hair in that manner for as long as my study of history takes me back. We've always wore our hair like that for a long time. Um, I just read recently that the term dreadlocks is actually an offensive term because back in the days of slavery, when some of the slaves would have their hair locked up, the slave masters would refer to that style as being dreadful, as the locks are dreadful, and they would call them dreadlocks. So I learned that little piece of history myself, and so there's always been um, a disdain for that hairstyle on black people. Um, it's associated by a lot of white people as being a thuggish look, a thuggish hairstyle. And there was um, I guess, an employee at Barbers Hill High School. Some people are saying that the person was a teacher's assistant, wasn't a full-time employee. Whether she wasn't a full-time employee or not, um, if they were indeed employed by Barbers Hill ISD at any time, then they were employed by Barbers Hill ISD. And this particular person posted, I'm reading it right now, um, posted on their social media, which says, our school, Amanda Williams is the name. Our school has done nothing. The thug culture will not be accepted here. Cut the gangster dreadlocks. So now there are several words mixed in there that point to um, this individual being racist, and she speaks for a lot of people who may not say it this directly. Let's just call it for what it is. I don't care who like it or don't like it. But the thug culture. So why is um, black culture? Because again, I've told y'all that this hairstyle is an expression of black culture. Why is that hairstyle referred to as thug culture? Since when does, oh, and she said the gangster dreadlocks. Now it's if you wear dreads, you're a thug, and now you're a gangster. When did hair or the way you wear your hair start to be a reflection of your character? And why is hair being connected to an individual's behavior? I just want to know. Somebody replied to her and said, gangster dreadlocks. Dreadlocks don't make you a thug. That makes him a thug. He's been in that school district 10 years. Suddenly he's a thug. And that's a good point, because I've yet to see or hear or read of any reports where this young man has gotten in trouble, where this young man has been has had any disciplinary problems, where he's been arrested, where I've yet to see that. So if indeed he's been wearing these gangster dreadlocks for 10 years and it's thug culture, his actions have not been reflective of anything gangster or thug in the entire time he's been in this school district. As a matter of fact, the whole point to this situation is that, okay, if you don't cut the dreadlocks, you will not be allowed to walk across the stage during graduation, which means that he is actually completing the process and is getting ready to graduate. So it's obvious that he has been um, a good student, a smart student, because he's getting ready to graduate. So it doesn't make sense to refer to him. Gangsters ain't got time to graduate. Gangsters ain't gonna be at school unless they coming up there. Thugs ain't gonna be at school unless they coming up there to do something they ain't got no business doing. So then she went on to say to the person who replied to her, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, you people need to make yourself more presentable to us. So I just set that right there on the table and let y'all process that one. Somebody named Amanda Williams. Some people say that this person is a transgender person, but I don't know. The point of the matter is, you people need to make yourself more presentable to us. Why? See, this is the mindset of a lot of racist people. This is the mindset of a lot of Americans right here in 2020. It's always been that mindset, but it's coming more into the forefront as we enter into this next phase that we're getting ready to enter into. So to wind this whole thing up, because that was an athlete who I think was on a wrestling team just some months back, and that individual was told that they had to cut their hair in order to participate in the sporting event, and they actually cut his hair right there on the spot, which broke my heart because he was young and didn't really know any better, but he should have never let them touch his hair. So I'm shouting out to DeAndre Arnold right now. You may see this, you may not see it, man. Don't you dare cut your hair, man. Don't let anyone dictate to you how to represent for your culture and represent what you've been doing all your life. Let your behavior be the representation, and let that stand out as you've always been doing. Um, my last point is that, I speak for black people at this moment right now. This is the reason why people like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad push black people to get their own schools. Because I read a comment that says, hey, our school, our rules. And the truth of the matter is, they're right. If you're attending someone's school, you're living under someone's roof, you are in someone's place of business, then you have to abide by their rules to the extent that it doesn't violate your rights, your human rights. And if it reaches that point, then you have to exercise the option to leave, which is what I'm getting to right now. We got to have our own schools. If we are educating our children in our own schools, then it won't be any issue to see brothers and sisters walking around with dreadlocks. It won't be an issue to see students um, displaying expressions of their culture and their history. Because what are they going to come up with next? If I wanted to wear a dashiki, can't wear it. If I wanted to wear a South Park Coalition shirt, I can't wear it. So we need our own schools, and we can lay out our own rules. So shout out to DeAndre and his family, and I know he's not gonna cut his hair. I already know, but salute to you. Keep fighting the fight. Um, I wouldn't even want to walk across that stage right now. My mentality would be go ahead and get your diploma. They can't stop you from getting your diploma. You don't have to walk across the stage. I wouldn't even want. That stage is beneath you now. You bigger than that stage because it's tainted. Those who represent that school district, they're beneath you now. So it would be more honorable for you, young brother, to not even walk across that stage. We should set up something for him to have a graduation of his own, a graduation celebration of his own, and uplift him. And I bet you there would be thousands to come out and support you. There would be more to come out and support you than it would have been at that little punk ass graduation that they having. All right, y'all. Peace.